use a technology that was developed by a Canadian company, Carbon Engineering, and our parent company, Oxy, became an investor in Carbon Engineering and then subsequently acquired it. So it's now an in-house technology. Now, this is a liquid sorbent technology. It's been in development really this is like a 15, 16-year journey. Carbon Engineering was established in 2009. They built a pilot plant in 2015, and then an innovation center in 2021. And then in 2022, we took FID on the first commercial scale plant, which is in West Texas. It's called Stratos, and it's a commercial scale. By commercial scale, I mean 500,000 tons a year of CO2 directly from the atmosphere. So this is a big scale up in DAC technology worldwide. Status, we have completed construction on the first phase of this. So we have a central processing facility that is capable of 500,000 tons, and we have the front end part of it has been split into two trains of 250,000 tons. And that first train of 250,000 tons is going through the commissioning process right now. And the reason we split the trains in two was because we knew that there were technological improvements that we could make, but we weren't in time to incorporate into the initial build. So the second stage, the second phase of development, the 250,000 tons that's under construction now, incorporates those improvements. As an example, there are 30% fewer air contactors and a much simplified pellet reactor design. So what the technology is it's, as I say, it's a liquid sorbent process. It uses potassium hydroxide circulated through air contactors, and that alkaline potassium hydroxide reacts with the acidic CO2 in the atmosphere and forms a carbonate. And then we concentrate that, we put it into a calciner in calcium carbonate form, into a calciner where we heat it up, it decomposes and releases pure CO2, which we can then compress and inject into geologic formations. So that's the process. So hard to abate sectors, in fact, really all sectors have decarbonization plans where they're going to address their emission footprint. And there are many, many things that they can and need to do in order to reduce emissions within their operations. But all businesses, all sectors ultimately will have some residual emissions that can't be abated directly. Now, hard to abate sectors, that threshold is much higher, and there's a much bigger portion of their emissions are going to be too expensive to implement technologies to eliminate those emissions. And that's where direct air capture, CDR credits can come in, and we remove the CO2 from the atmosphere for them. And even at today's price point, which is early in development, even at today's price point, it's more cost effective to use CDR credits than the cost of abatement. An example of that would be in the aviation sector, which is a really classic hard to abate sector, obviously. So one of the sort of IATA roadmap for decarbonization of aviation includes a combination of things like operational efficiency, better engines, some hydrogen aircraft, and then a big wedge for sustainable aviation fuel, and then something like 500 million tons of removals to take away the residual emissions. So when you think about sustainable aviation fuel, in fact, and there are SAF mandates in place in a number of parts of the world, including the UK, the price point, again, for these CDR credits is very competitive with typical costs for SAF. And then the other thing I would say about how hard to abate sectors can incorporate CDR credits into their decarbonization plans is really start at a point that is affordable today at a low level of CDR credits, and then build it up gradually over time to the kind of volume that they're going to need at the point in time when they expect to be at net zero. Well, it's a really good opportunity to meet people from all across the sectors involved in climate technology and decarbonization generally. And so this is an event, or this is an event that pulls in people from multiple sectors. So it's good to hear perspectives from all these different parts of the industry, and government people, people from financial institutions, technology firms, and then the suppliers, the climate technology suppliers like ourselves, and in other spaces. And it's really interesting to hear those other perspectives, so that we can help continue to mature our thinking in the way our technology can be applied to help reach the goals that we all want to get to.